Hello everybody, this is Chris Epling here. I'm going to be showing you today how to draw Raphael from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The only supplies you really need are a pen and a pencil. First thing we're going to do is start off by drawing circles. Now this is a method that I've shared a lot in the workshops in the schools. It's called the Marvel method, that's what I call it, but there's a lot of names for it. I've seen artists use it from Disney to Marvel, so how it works is you draw these shapes, ovals, circles, rectangles. You even make up some shapes really, but it's to give a general outline of your character or the subject of what you're drawing. You can see that I've added a lot of shapes here. After all these shapes are put together, it kind of gives you a general outline of the subject you're drawing. Now if you notice, I start to draw a little darker. Now I'm still using a pencil here. When I add this detail in, you can see the lines will stick out a little better. What I like to do is, after building that frame to start on, I go ahead and I go back, and on top of all the shapes that I've created, I'll add that detail. The face for a Ninja Turtle varies. I've seen a lot of different artists use their own type of style to create the Ninja Turtles, but for this particular one we're going to be using more of a rounded shape. Now you can see that I did not draw anything out for the bandana, but adding that in now. The reason for that is the shapes are just so distinct and unique that it's easier to draw that on top of your existing framework. After going back over and working the different shapes, you want to keep in mind that however you drew your ovals in the beginning, it's not set in stone. You do not have to follow that shape exactly. So for the muscle tone on the arm, for the fingers, I'm adding on top of the shape. You can see on the hand the existing circle beneath the fingers. Those shapes just serve to guide you, just to help you through the drawing process of getting the character, his perspective or her perspective looking right, and the shape and orientation of the different elements of the drawing looking right. Now the side that Raphael carries, we finished that out. Didn't use a ruler, looks a little messy here, but I'll try to fix it when I start to ink it. Details really start coming in after you go over your shape more. Pay attention to what you're drawing. Look how the artist put their rendition together. When you start adding more details on top of the ovals, the shape should really start to come together now. Start to look a little bit more like the character you're drawing. This helps me a great deal from when I'm drawing anything from landscape stuff or make-believe characters like a mutated teenage Ninja Turtle. But I use this method a lot for doing other types of work too, from cartooning all the way to illustration work. Adding detail on top of your circles helps to guide you, but that's not the finished process. You want to make sure that you darken in the lines that you're going to be inking over later. This helps really, again, to serve you as a guide. Of course, you could leave it right now at the penciled version, and that would be just fine if that's what you want to do, but for the purpose of this video, we'll go ahead and ink this too. Now, inking works different. There's different types of pens you can actually get for inking purposes, from brushes to felt tip pens to what's called nib pens. All these different types of pens really are just which one you use, is really up to you. It's your own personal preference. Now what I wish I would have done for this particular example was brought out a couple different pens. It's good to have different sizes. You can see the brush pen I'm using is really great for putting in those solid shadows and stuff, but for things like detail like the tip of the sai or maybe the tips of the bandana, it's good to have a finer tip pen to work with. But we're sticking with the brush. We're going to try to finish this all out with the brush. So when you're using a brush, those lines that you've created that you push down harder with your pencil on when you added the detail, it's really good to have that as a kind of a guide to go by, and you just ink on top of that, keeping in mind that once you let this ink dry later and you erase, the picture is really going to pop out, and a lot of the markings from the ovals you created and the lead from adding in those details will be fixed too. So I hope you enjoyed watching this. Hope you can tell a little bit about it from the speed of the movie, but try it yourself.